Wisdom is determined to be the leading tax and financial service by providing educational concepts on how to achieve financial independency and help others create an inheritance for generations to come. Wisdom offers services to individuals and business owners. We provide services that are tailored out to all of our clients in 39 states. Our services include tax preparation, accounting, bookkeeping, financial education, as well as notary services. Our dependable staff is here to help you with all of your financial needs. Call us today.
This is the Winning Brand Podcast, the podcast dedicated to helping entrepreneurs and small businesses level up with the right tools and resources to help you win in business. Now your host, Chase McGee.
Hey winners, welcome to the Winning You Live Podcast Tour kicking off in Atlanta. Are ready to join an awesome panel and my amazing live audience. I could not do this without these guys. So, ladies, how y'all doing?
We're good. Happy to be here.
So I'm going to start with you. Okay. Go ahead and introduce yourself and your show and what you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Melissa West. I am the owner of Fit for Legacy, where I give your legacy a voice and a plan. And the Fit for Legacy show talks about all the things that you need to do to make sure that when you die, your legacy doesn't die. So we do consulting, we do financial planning, we do life insurance, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Am I up next?
Yeah, you're up next and you're on.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I am the founder and co-host of Schoolin Life Podcast. Schoolin Life is a weekly podcast with my lovely co-host, Marcy Sims. Schoolin Life, we focus on life, love, and libations, and we are really committed to cultivating meaningful relationships among women, and we talk about things that matter to women like us.
And I am Marcy, and I echo everything Ashley just said. I'm the co-host of Schoolin Life, and we are just happy to be here with you all.
Oh, well, thanks you guys for answering the call and being a part of my crazy dream. So I really, really appreciate it. So the topic for today is the success formula. Everyone has a different version of success, and we will definitely get into that. But everybody wants to win. Right? Everybody wants to have a winning brand, the winning brand, right? So what does it look like to win? What y'all think, Melissa?
Winning for me looks like making sure that you can still live your life. So I don't believe in hustling where you don't get any sleep. So to me, balance. And, you do have to make sacrifices. You do have to choose what you're going to do. But winning means I can do the things that I love to do. I do the things I have to do. But at the end of the day, I enjoy my life. It's not a grind every day. So for me, that's what the ultimate winning formula is.
Yeah, I think for me, winning is a lot about consistent excellence. So one of the things that I'm most proud of related to Schoolin Life is that we've been podcasting on the Schoolin Life brand, and Marcy and I specifically, for a little over a year, and we have released an episode every Tuesday for the last 2 years. Every Tuesday, without fail, Schoolin Life is there for you. We don't miss a week. We are consistent with our brand, and we are consistently excellent. It's not half. It's not, sorry, the audio is bad this week. It's not, sorry, you don't get a full episode. We are consistently excellent, and we are committed to that. And I think that is what makes us a winning brand, and it's something that's important to our brand, and something that we are really committed to.
And not to piggyback on any of that, I'm going to add something else to it.
Okay.
For me, winning is like recognizing what I need to win. So it's not about everybody else's standard for winning. It's not about what this next person is doing or what this other person looks like, but really focusing in on me and what it means for me to win. And I found that once I really centered in on myself and I'm like, I'm beating myself, who I was the previous day, I'm better than myself from that day, that is what makes me feel like I'm winning. As long as I'm doing better than I was doing the day before, to me, that's going to be winning.
I love it. I think for me, winning is not necessarily being, it's not for me. It's for other people. I win when I see others win. That is my joy. That's why I created the winning brand. Because it has nothing to do with Chase McGee. It's me wanting to absolutely see you win and show up and be the best version of you that you want to be. And so anything that I can do to be a part of that, I try to, make that happen. I push people to their limits. I will push you to points you didn't even know that you had. I see the greatness in people that they don't see in themselves. Yeah. So, and my team will tell you, I'm like, no, everybody cries.
Everybody cries.
Everybody cries, but I see the best, and I just want the best for everybody. So for me, it's more of a service and providing to see everybody else win. So that's pretty much like my winning thing. So when it came to podcasting, because, people think we're crazy, podcasting, what is that? Why are y'all doing that? I got to listen every week. Why? Why was it important for you guys to follow your dreams and follow this and be committed to your shows?
I think at Schoolin Life, when I started the podcast 2 years ago, I just felt like there weren't voices like mine in the podcast space. I'm not a professional podcaster. I have a PhD in higher education. I'm a full-time university administrator.
Wait a minute. You're not a professional
I am a professional. I'm a university administrator. That's what I do full time. I'm very passionate about that. I'm very passionate about my work with Schoolin Life, and I take my brand very seriously. But I actually don't have dreams of doing Schoolin Life full time. However, I know that more women in particular, who's our primary audience, they need to hear from women like me. They need to hear from professional women. They need to hear from women who are well educated and dating and, saving and getting out of debt and, making friends and losing friends and, trying to, help their younger siblings and help their aging parents. They need to hear from women like us. And I feel like that voice is important. And so while, I don't have dreams and passions related to me becoming a full-time podcaster, I still think I have something to add to the podcast space. And the voice of well-educated, thoughtful women who are doing meaningful work in the world and adding value in the podcast space, I think is a voice that was missing at the time when I started 2 years ago. And I'm so glad that I didn't shy away from the calling to explore the brand development of Schoolin Life.
Ma'am, you are a professional podcaster. Right. Let's clean it up, right? Everybody in this room is a professional podcaster. The moment you decide to get behind the mic, you're a professional.
I will claim that title. I received that. Yes. Thank you.
Melissa, what about you when your show?
I started my show actually as a service. I would have clients who were shy and they didn't think they had anything to offer. And so they were intimidated about getting online, going live, things like that. So I started really as we're going to push you out there. So in pushing them out there, I fell in love with doing the live broadcast. And literally, they talk about what makes their heart sing, and I really enjoyed that part of the show. Everybody gets off of the show and said, wow, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. And so then I'm like, yeah, that's so easy. So I can talk clearly. I'm a PK, so talking is not an issue. Yeah, I'm a PK.
To get up in front of the church,
waving at the people. My daddy always, come on up. So I'm used to that. So I'm just happy to be able to use that to help someone else. So that's how I got started.
I would say, so I had never thought about doing a podcast until Ashley slid up in my DMs one night.
I'm so grateful she said yes. I'm so
asking me to join her on her podcast. But one of the joys of podcasting for me is being able to help other people. So I often get just messages and texts from people and emails and all these other just forms of communication of people saying, wow, when you said X, Y, and Z, that really meant something to me. That really helped me. Your words are so meaningful to me, and just seeing the people in my life and the people that listen to the show and the people that support us say, man, I really learned something from this. That means a lot to me. I'm a therapist, and so I'm all about helping and healing other people. So to have another platform to be able to do that on, especially in an age where podcasting and tweeting and I don't know all the social media terms, but doing all that stuff really impacts people and is really like important to people. I love being a part of that space in a way that is not necessarily therapy. It's me just sharing my personal experiences in my life with a little bit of therapy in there. But I love being able to use this platform to help other people.
So, do you fear anything?
Ooh, well, wait a minute. I feel very attacked right now.
I fear this question.
Even like, man, didn't ease in or nothing. Do I fear anything?
Very direct.
As a Christian woman,
Disclaimer.
I do not fear anything.
Okay, well, let me.
But I'm kidding. I'm joking.
But let me ask you this:
Yes.
Are you afraid of success or failure?
I'm afraid of success. So one of the things that I've really realized about myself, and not to like sound cocky or brag or anything like that, but I am so capable of doing pretty much anything that I put my mind to. And I honestly think that I fear really getting to the level of success that I think I can get to, because to me, to whom much is given, much is required. So once I get there, then that means that I have a certain bar and a certain level of excellence that I have to maintain. And if y'all listen to the podcast ever, y'all know that me maintaining stuff, I'm real chill. I just like to sit back and have my self-care days and not do anything. But when you reach a certain level of success, like, you have to maintain that. And that's a little bit scary to me. So sometimes when I think about my dreams and I think about what I want to do, I get a little intimidated by myself. And I do think that sometimes that stifles me from moving forward.
So you said something that I want to correct. You can do pretty much anything. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
I can do
do
anything.
all
All things through Christ who strengthens me. Amen.
What's the book say?
Right.
Success or failure?
I would say failure. I would say failure for sure. I've had to be responsible for a lot early on. So when my dad passed, my mom became my responsibility. So I believe for me, it's risk enough to stay safe, but still make sure my mom's going to be okay. So I think for me, it's always been the failure. And because I want to do it in excellence, it's affected the pace at which I do things. I'll do it, but the pace, it's not as aggressive as I would be able to do if it was just me.
Right.
Yeah.
Success or failure?
I would say neither. I have a personal motto to do it scared, and that it's about practice, not perfection. So I fail often, and I do it really quickly. So I'm often failing. I'm often doing things that are wrong. I'm often doing things slightly incorrect. I'm probably not always my best, but I'm always perfecting that. And it's that consistent practice of doing. I will start something. I will fail at it. I will stop doing it. I will do something else. I'll go back to that, and then I'll do that better. And it's my consistency, my practice of always, the goal is always excellence. So even when I fall just below excellence, it's always still really, really good. Because my goal, my practice is always in excellence. So I think it's practice, not perfection, and it's do it scared.
That's good.
I love that. Mine is failure. I fail daily. I'm very hard on myself. I beat myself up. I cry before every show.
Wouldn't have guessed
Every
it.
single show.
Wouldn't have guessed it.
Really?
No.
I like break down like old Ford. Like break down, and it's almost like a cleansing thing to me. It's cleansing and it's reassurance, that hey, you got this.
Yeah.
You're not perfect.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be okay. You got this. But it's that constant reminder. Sometimes I have, I get into my own little zone when I have to be my own cheerleader. And it's hard sometimes being your own cheerleader, because you see the vision and you feel like you're running a race by yourself, and to keep going. So it's definitely failure because I don't want to let anyone else down in my circle. So let me ask y'all a question. Did you have to die to become the better person that you are today?
Yes.
These questions. Oh my God.
Kind of Oprah-ish.
Yes, Oprah. Yes.
You better lean in.
Just invite me. All I'm saying. Invite me.
There you go. Right.
I don't think I'd have to die, but I think I have to be vulnerable I have to be vulnerable, and I'm practicing this sort of radical vulnerability. Like, I'm really thinking about, like, how I can be open, how I can be porous, how I can really take feedback, take critical feedback, how I can receive that, how I can not, it's not always about me, like people's feedback about me or feedback about the show or whatever. It's not always about me. That might be about them, but I need to, as a creative, right, like as a person who does this work and is building a brand, in the time that we've been podcasting, Schoolin Life started as a podcast. We now have a blog, we have a web presence, we have an online merch store. Just last week, I opened up one-to-one mentoring and professional development coaching. And so I have to be porous. I have to be vulnerable. I have to have people tell me, this didn't work for me, or I need more from you, or I expected more. And so it's not about death for me. It's more about the vulnerability of, like, being porous and being vulnerable enough to sort of take feedback. And also, I think, take positive feedback, too. I think sometimes we'll get a litany of, like, positive reviews, and then someone will say, I just feel like y'all was super off base about y'all review of Queen Sugar last week. Y'all don't even really understand what Nopa trying to do. And I'm just like, so now my feelings are hurt. Like, why do I care about that? But, like, everybody else will get, but I'm stressed, like, well, maybe we need to do a deeper analysis and really see what Ralph Angel talking about. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we need to really rethink it. Like, it ain't that deep. So for me, it's about, like, I do need to be porous, but and vulnerable. And for me, that's as close as to death, I guess, as I could.
Definitely. I would say shedding the old me, for sure. It was required, and I had to be more transparent. I'm already an open book, but I had to be more transparent about my mental health, and people were like, I've never heard you talk like that, because they're so used to me smiling, but I really had to die to what got me here to say, okay, what's going to take me to the next? So absolutely.
I would definitely say aspects of me. I think that, and I'm still kind of going through this, maybe like metamorphosis. I'm going from my cocoon phase into my butterfly phase, and it's slow and it's arduous, but I definitely think that there are parts of me from my past that I've let go of, and there are still parts of me that I am working on relieving myself of.
Okay.
You?
I know, right?
Are you dying?
Your turn.
Are you dead out here?
Peruse on to the next question. Nope.
Nah, your turn.
Yeah, I completely had to die. Chase had to die to be here. I was stubborn. I didn't listen. I was mean. I was vindictive. I hated people because I thought it was like I didn't trust the devils inside of them. I was like, I just don't. But when I really start looking at me, I was like, why do I hate people? Because I'm the person that I hated, right? I hated what I saw. So when you are forced to take a look at yourself, and it's a difference, and I tell people all the time, it's a difference in being honest and transparent. And when you get to the point where you are transparent, and you see you, and you can say, you know what, look, I tell anybody, I'm funny acting. Depends on what day you get Chase McGee. Some days you may want to steer clear, because Chase is very fun acting sometimes. Really. But I love people now, but I'm funny acting, right? But not today. But that transparency, in the moment I was really ready to get real with myself and say, girl, you need to, get some help, go see a therapist. I was dealing with a lot, and trauma triggers things, right? Absolutely. We can go through divorce, death, the loss of a child, loss of a parent, and we just put that Band-Aid over it, like, oh, I'm good, and I don't really have to deal with it. Yeah. And then it'd be one thing, tiny thing, to make you break. And then you're forced to deal with everything. So when you deal with that person, then you have to say, you know what, I'm really messed up. The moment you can admit that to yourself and say, but I'm a great person, I love me. But you have to love yourself too. You have to love you enough to be transparent with yourself. So the moment I got to that point, then I had to die. But I love people though. I love y'all now. But I'm very funny.
Just a little funny.
I'm very funny acting sometimes. Okay. Overcoming fear. How do you do it? Do you? You pray?
Oh yeah, that was the first thing that popped into my mind. I pray, and not just praying, but spending time in the Word and talking to God and having people in my life who are honestly achieving at a level that I'm trying to get to, and maybe not necessarily in the field that I'm in or in the podcasting world, but just I have the dopest friends on the planet, I swear. And I look at them and I'm like, I need to step my game up, apparently, because you are out here doing all these amazing things. I can't be the weakest chain in the bunch. So, like, my friends and my team, they make me want to be better. Like, I surround myself with people who are doing dope things. For a point in my life, I was always the person who was the dopest in the crowd. I did a few things in my lifetime. I'm just saying. And then I got to a point where I got like married and happy, and I'm chilling. I'm having a great life. And then I started looking around at people, and I'm like, wait a minute, people just far surpassed me. So I love that though, because then it makes me strive, and it makes me like, I have a friend who just opened a business. I'm like, man, that's scary. But if my friend can open a business, what stops me from being able to open a business? So even though that's scary to me, it shows me a path that it can be done. So praying, God telling me I can do it, the Bible telling me I can do it, and then seeing dope people in my life accomplish things, that just, it completely blows fear out of the water.
Okay.
You're welcome. I gave you that for free. That was free, girl. The next one I'm going to have to charge for.
Accepting a benevolent offer.
Hello. Ooh, yes. Can we pass the offering tray?
Right at that line.
Right? Overcoming fear.
I definitely pray, but I do believe that God gives us what we need. It's in us. So I pray, and I'm a list maker, so I write it out. I'm a linear thinker, so I write out what it's going to take to get there, and that cuts the stress in half for me, at least. For me, it's having a plan. Now, I get afraid if the plan doesn't work. I'm like, well, dang, but at least that's my first step, praying and writing it down.
Writing the vision, making it plain.
Absolutely.
I love that.
I think for me, the thing I do to sort of overcome fear is to tell myself the truth. I will lie to myself all the time. Just be lying. You can't do that. You don't have like anybody gonna support you, girl. Like it's not gonna work. You don't have enough resources. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough time. You don't have enough talent. I will lie to myself. All those are lies. It's not the truth. And so if you do nothing else, you should listen to an episode of Schoolin Life called Tell Yourself the Truth. It's one of my favorite episodes that we've ever done out of the 2 years that we've been podcasting every Tuesday. It's one of my favorite episodes. And I listen to it all the time.
Every Tuesday. Come on.
I do. I listen to it all the time.
Please subscribe.
Come on.
Because I have to remind myself that I have to tell myself the truth. We lie to ourselves all the time. We'll speak negative things into our spirits. We'll let other people tell us negative things. But I think often it's my discipline about what I say to myself and what I repeat in my mind. And for me, overcoming fear is just like telling myself you're scared and that's okay, but you're still gonna do it. And you don't have to get over the fear. You don't have to overcome the fear. You just have to do the thing. And so my consistent practice is about telling myself the truth and speaking life into myself and speaking the truth of how great and awesome I am. And when I'm able to do that, I'm not always able to overcome the fear, but I'm able to do the thing. And sometimes for me, it's not about overcoming it. It's about doing it. And then maybe you'll fail, and then you'll just do it again or do something else.
Right. So what advice do you have to the person that is suffering with a little bit of self-esteem issues and they try and they may have one good day and 2 bad days, 2 good days and 5 bad days because they talk themselves out of being what they are meant and supposed to be. Talk to that person.
So I would tell that person to tell yourself the truth. I'm having some really insecure moments. I'm feeling really unsure about what I'm supposed to be doing, who I'm supposed to be doing it with, and how I'm supposed to be doing it. Mm-hmm. And then I love a good list. Mm-hmm. So you sort of make an action plan. I'm feeling really insecure, and I need to connect with people who are more secure than me, maybe have a lot of confidence, people who love me, who are close to me, who believe in me, so that they can speak life into me, because I really can't speak it into myself right now. You connect with those people, you be vulnerable, you be honest, you already told yourself the truth, so now you tell them the truth about where you're at, and hopefully you have really good people people in your life, so they'll help you assess like how far gone this is. Like, hey, like maybe we need to talk about therapy because a mental health clinician can sort of help you work through this. Maybe we need to seek the support of a clergy member, right? Because, you know, maybe this is a God thing. Girl, like maybe we just need to get you in a club in like a tight dress, and then like we just work this thing out. You know what I'm saying? You know, put your elbows to your knees and you just work it out. You know, it just depends. Like it just depends on kind of what the vibe is, but like one of those three things can usually shake whatever it is. And I think it's through telling yourself the truth and that vulnerability that can help you like navigate even the lowest of times.
Okay, so no new friends, small circles, big circles. What do those circles look like? Let's come over here.
I am definitely team no new friends.
Are you a millennial?
You know, so here's the thing. No. I have this conversation on a regular basis. In theory, we are all millennials. But I am on I don't believe you. I am on the edge of the millennial. I know what it's like to not have cell phones. I have the computer with a flashing little green thing. That's it. Exactly. So don't do that. I am technically, according to Wikipedia, a millennial.
Cite your sources.
But here's the thing for me. The reason that I'm team no new friends is because my team is so tight that I don't have the capacity to invite more people in. So I believe that if I have relationships with people, I give fully to them. And if I bring more people into my fold, I can't give fully to them because I'm already at capacity with everything that I'm doing and the relationships that I have. Like I feed so much into those relationships that I just generally don't have the space for that. And why would I bring you into the fold if I can't feed into you? So it's more so about me looking out for other people.
Why you can't be their friend? Right.
And you
You're a little funny.
When you said you was funny acting, I was like, oh, Chase might actually have to be one of my new friends, because, right, somebody might just have to get kicked out. You know, there's some little stragglers down there, because I'm also team, if you ain't feeding back into me.
Word, that's a word.
Yeah.
Then, you know, you might get demoted because other people trying to get into the fold. So, but no, I am a little funny acting if we not, if the energy isn't there. I'm real particular about my energy. I give too much of myself on a daily basis. I talk to at least 20 people a week about their trauma, about their depression, about their anxiety, and I have to show up for them. So outside of work, you can't suck the energy out of me. And if you're doing that, I can't. So I have a big circle. My husband knows literally everyone in Atlanta. So they get folded into my circle as well. So I have a pretty big circle, a pretty big team. And I want to be available for people. And I can't do that by adding new people in there.
Okay, team no new friends.
Being honest, tell the truth.
Right?
Tell yourself and
Tell myself and everybody else the truth.
What that circle look like, Melissa?
Mine's pretty big. I have a big circle, but it's seasonal. So I've got people I've had seasonal in that people I grew up with.
like Target.
Yeah, it's seasonal. It's definitely seasonal.
Oh, it's spring. Good to see you again, girl.
Yeah, it's definitely seasonal. Everybody can call me and we pick up where we left off. But there's maybe 3 people I talk to on a regular basis. Everybody else, we're rotating. How are you doing? You good? You living? Good. But I think it's because that PK thing, you had to be everybody's friend. Right. So I went through that thing of, that's my best friend. I'm like, I don't do best friends. I love you, you love me, we're friends. So my circle is big, and then my prayer has been, God, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. So my circle continues to get larger. It does. Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah.
We're going to come. Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely team new friends. I've moved a lot in my life. My friends used to joke that I can't keep a job. I have a new job every 18 months. I don't do work that I don't love. If I don't love it, I'm leaving. And so I have to make new friends often. I've lived in Chicago and Atlanta and Indiana, and now I live in Pennsylvania. And so I always have to make new friends. I'm the oldest of 7 children, so I'm used to lots of people and a big family, and I love making friends. It excites me, and I try to be a really good friend. I try to be thoughtful about my engagement with people, and I have the capacity for friendship. I feel like I'm a busybody, so I can, I move and shake and hang out with this group of people and then hang out with that group of people. I'm definitely an extrovert, so like I know a lot of people like they need their alone time, like they need to be alone. I don't need that. I'm not saying it's not like I have continuous energy, but I am energized when I am around people more than I'm energized when I am alone.
Drains me dry.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right now, it's like,
Y'all pray
got
for
another
me. All right, everyone, sit tight. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors. I need you to know the importance of catching your customers' attention by having a promo video for your business. Doesn't matter the size of the business, but you need to be seen and heard like a major brand. Video promotions are now equally as important as photo promotions on social media. Social video gets shared 1,200% more than text and images combined. Videos attach 300% more traffic and help to nurture leads. Videos under 2 minutes long get the most engagement. Contact us today to find out how you can create a winning brand with a promotional video.
Just like music.
Welcome to Shoot Your Shot, the C. Allen Experience. Shoot Your Shot is a fun, interactive photography experience where your smartphone makes you the most powerful person in the room. It's hosted by me, photographer C. Allen.
You want to be the smartest person in the room, the coolest person in the room? Get to Shoot Your Shot next time, okay? So you can learn how to be so innovative and creative with your cell phone.
All you need is a charged iPhone or Android, and you're ready to take your mobile photography skills to the next level. I look forward to transforming you and your friends into some amazingly dope mobile photographers. I invite you to come out and shoot your shot.
We out here doing photos at night. The Nocturnus is here. We got a DJ up inside. There's drinks, there's dancing, there's food. Man, y'all missed it. Too bad, too sad.
Hi, I'm Crystal Garrett Evans, and I am going to be starting the Lifestyle Success Code podcast. I am so excited to be doing this. I have been thinking about doing a podcast probably for the last year and a half. And with doing my Facebook Lives and interacting with people, I realized that a podcast would be an amazing way to connect with all of you guys on a broader spectrum. So we're going to be talking about all things lifestyle, all things success. We're going to break the code on that. So we're going to be talking marriage, relationships, style, fashion, how these kids drive us crazy sometimes, and everything in between, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So join me every Wednesday, and we are going to break the lifestyle success code with you.
Ladies, we often make excuses for why we're not good enough, for why we don't have enough time, for why we don't have enough money. Well, I say, enough is enough. You must make the decision to not allow excuses to stick. Be excuse-proof. When you zero in and hit zero excuses, you are able to live the life you were created to live. You know, that life with more joy, more focus, more clarity. Hi, I'm Tracy L. James, and I've been through some things in my life. I was a teen mom. I've been in emotionally and verbally abusive relationships. I've been laid off. I've even been fired. I've struggled with my own self-esteem, just like you. I now live an excuse-proof life. See, where excuses come up, but I don't allow them to stick. I don't allow them to block me from living the life I was created to live. I am committed to helping women just like you achieve the goals that you've been working so hard to achieve. Ready to zero in and finally live the life you were created to live? Join me.
Have you ever thought as a business owner, how can I get my product or service in the hands of consumers all over the world? By becoming a sponsor of the Winning You Live podcast tour, you will be able to get your business in front of thousands on a global level. Unlike ad placements on other platforms, our ads are evergreen and on demand wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Don't just run a business, create a brand. Contact us today at winningbrandpodcast.com.
Hey winners, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you are watching the Winning You Live Podcast tour right from Atlanta, Georgia. We're so excited to be talking to Melissa West from Fit for Legacy show, right?
Right.
And Ashley and Marcy from Schoolin Life Podcast. Thank you, ladies, so much for being a part of this. So I want to turn it over a little bit, and I kind of want to switch gears. So,
Want me to take it away?
I do. Go ahead, take it away, girl.
So I know that there are a number of fellow podcasters in the room. So I really wanted to turn it over to the audience and just ask fellow podcasters, is there anything that you're really stuck with? Is there any challenges in your podcast space that we might be able to help, or ways that we can support you? You know, all of us are podcasters, and I believe in the power of community and how we can support one another. So if any fellow podcasters in the room have challenges or barriers that they'd like to share and express, or ask us any questions related to the work with our podcast and sort of how we do it, we'd love to answer those questions.
Wait, hold on. Okay, hold on 1 second. Do y'all know what I do outside of podcasting?
Maybe
Yeah.
not.
No.
Tell us.
No, please enlighten us.
I know, but we don't know.
I saw that girl. Okay. So I'm a branding and marketing strategist for small businesses and entrepreneurs, mainly startups that are trying to, and I work with people that's been in business 10, 15, 20 years as well, that are trying to gain momentum, trying to target their right customer and talk directly to their audience. So we create, tools, resources, strategies, or whatever to get you to where you want to be, to talk to who you need to talk to immediately, right? So I kind of bring a lot of that into the podcast. Whatever I hear myself, or my clients struggle with, it could be, I need help with ninja marketing because I have a zero budget. Let's have that conversation. Let's talk about that. Let's be real, because sometimes we don't have the budget and we don't know where the money is coming from. We don't always qualify for loans. Our credit may be jacked. So what does that look like in taking those steps to get to where you need to be? Yeah. So that's kind of what the Winning Brand podcast, that's kind of what we do.
So this would be a perfect time to ask questions related to marketing and branding for your podcast,
right.
if that is your area of challenge.
Right. Totally. So we had a question over here, right? Good. I love it. New shoes.
I'm Jonathan Toulon. My wife and I have a podcast called In the Trenches with the Toulons. It's about the journey of marriage and relationships. If you're married or in a relationship, you understand.
Right.
My question is, I guess sometimes it can be an issue, is engagement, right? So we talk about marriage and relationships. We're trying to get people to give feedback. That is by far the hardest thing to do in this space. And at least that's my perspective right now. Do you have any tips, ideas?
I do. I actually do. So one of the things that I always say, talk to who you are, right? So you are not going to, your target needs to be married couples and married couples only, or people that are in a relationship and really care about that. So you need to go directly to those spaces where there are, be it different groups, just like show of hands, how many got a DM from me? How many DMs did I slide in, right? Same thing, right? It's like you're building that relationship with them, but I talk directly to you because I am you, right? So you can relate. So you have to talk to them and be intentional about it. Don't care about anybody else because they're going to come, right? You're going to attract those people, but you have to be true to who you are. And if you want those people, you have to, even if it's outside of social media, so that's getting into the groups where they are, if it's church, if it's social clubs, if it's, stalk these people and go directly to who they are. I stalked y'all. I mean,
And we are all here today.
and we are all here today, and I thank you. Right? You had a question, right?
Yes. Hi, my name is Simone. I am the co-host of High Key Woke Podcast. We talk all things Black related to corporate America, politics, and the culture. And my question is, my friend / co-host and I, Shanopa, we started our podcast a few months ago in May, and right now we're working on building our brands, building our network, and the both of us are fairly new to Atlanta. So right now, a challenge is gaining new listeners. I feel that so far from our brand, we have a lot of support from family and friends and other podcasts, but how do we increase our reach and increase our network? And also, how do we get more involved within Atlanta and lay some roots?
Oh, that's a great question. Very loaded. So, I know y'all probably don't know, or most of you know, I'm not from here, right? But I got all of y'all here, right? So I was intentional about getting you here and about who I reached. So again, like I gave them, it would be getting on meetups, getting on Eventbrite. Everywhere, all events, every place there is possibly an event that's related to what you're doing, go, show up, hand out business cards. I had a thing where I was hitting 15 events a month. If you downloaded my podcast, you got a magnet, you got a cup, you got something from me for free. I had all these things printed up, all this marketing material, because you had to know my name. I needed you to know what I did. So being intentional about that, going to their spaces, because you can't just say, come to me. Social media and Facebook does not play nice anymore. Hence why we're recording on YouTube right now, right? So going directly to them and where they are and telling people, hey, do you know how many people don't know what we do? Mm-hmm. They don't know how to download a podcast. Mm-hmm. They're like, when you say podcast, that's a thing? Like, why are you doing that? Is that like radio? People are so confused. Yeah. So I always suggest, I'm in several groups in Houston, and what I taught them on is teach people. You have to teach people how to work with you. So even if that's creating a video on, hey, did you know I have a podcast? This is how you download it. Give them instructions on this is what you do. And you have to, engage them and meet them where they are. They may not be listening to a full episode. Give them snippets. Headliner.app. Everybody knows about that, right? Mm-hmm. Give them snippets until you train them to, listen to full podcasts, right? I started mine with 5 minutes, because that's all I saw that they were taking. And I'm like, this is juicy. Y'all need to listen to the full stuff. And it's also how you title your stuff, right? How to, when you start putting how to and interesting things, how to have a better relationship, how to, why you should, right? These are the people that's going to be attracted to what you do, because they're going to I want to know. Yeah, I want to know. But they're going to do it in secret, because everything's a secret. I don't want people to know I'm jacked up. I have problems, right? So, but that's the way that you just reaching out, going relentlessly and putting people. I tell people, you have an iPhone, or do you have that other thing, right? No,
shade boots.
Still shade, right? Boots. The shade is real. I love all of my Android users. Google Play it. The Winning Brand Podcast, right? But you redirect them back. So whatever they have, say, hey, can you pull out your app? Can you go to the Google Play Store? Make sure you're there, though. Can you go to the Google Play Store? Hey, I want to share my podcast with you. You may be interested in this. Tell them, because they don't know. They don't know what they don't know, and they may actually like it and don't know they like it.
Yeah. One of the other things that I would suggest is if your podcast has the ability to bring on guests, you might consider a strong guest strategy, particularly because you're new to the area. So that's low or to no cost, right? You can get a video conferencing software like Zoom Zoom or Zencaster or something. Invite some local influencers on. Invite a local chef. You can Google like Atlanta influencers, Atlanta chef, Atlanta hairstylist, and just say, hey, I'm a new podcaster in the area. I'd love to invite you on. Everybody wants to talk about their brand for free. So if you invite them on for free, it's not going to cost you anything, right? And then you bring their audience to you. I think over the life of Schoolin Life, we've probably had 30 or so guests, and they bring huge audiences with them. Our downloads always boost when we have guests on the show. And we've even done like a guest strategy. For example, the month of July, we had a series called July Jumpstart, where we invited a guest on every week. And so it was all about like jumpstarting your life and like, redeveloping, launching your life in the middle of the year. And so we had a guest on every week. Those guests have, thousands, sometimes 10,000s of listeners. And so they're bringing them with them. So I would strongly suggest having a strong guest strategy. You might not want to go for the person who has 1 million followers, right? They might not be interested, but maybe go for the person who has 8,000 followers, right? Go for the person who has 15,000, and they'll bring their audience with them.
And then they might, because I had a former NBA player that I had on my show that reached out, and they found me. So, and to find great guests, this is free knowledge, y'all. Podcastguest.com.
They also have a Facebook group called
They have a
Podcast
Facebook
Guests.
group, and there are some amazing people. Like, when I say my downloads are the business because of that, and it's like different genres, different areas. You can find anybody that does anything and have a podcast, and they want to be guests.
Yeah.
Right? They are thirsty to be guests. And
People are in that group like pitching themselves
yeah,
all the time.
they pitch
so
themselves
you see somebody
and they share.
Like,
They actually share. So I definitely would do that and look into that.
I would also add, and I think this goes for anybody in the room, stop being prideful and not pubbing yourself and not branding yourself. Like, for example, there is no reason why everybody in this room should know your podcast before you leave here today. And not just know it because you just shared it right now, but that you actually went up to them like, okay, open your app, follow me. I will open my app and subscribe to you too, right? So I think that, and I know that this is something I'm talking to myself right now as well, because I am very prideful. And if I ask you the first time, I feel like I just posted about this yesterday, so I don't understand.
I know you follow me and you saw
why
it.
I need to ask you again. You liked the post, so I know you saw it. But I do think that there is just a beauty in being able to say, like, hey, I have this thing. Will you support me? And you would just be amazed by, you said that your friends and your family are the main people that are supporting you. They are powerful, and they can be your supporters as well. So keep pushing them and saying, hey, did you tell anybody about my podcast? Can you have them follow me? So definitely, like, put your pride aside, but also be patient. It takes time. Like, you just started, you just got here, and I know that we're all like, we live in this instant gratification society, and we want things to be happening right now. We feel like, I just started my podcast, so I should have 1,000 subscribers already. Give yourself time. Keep being consistent, putting your stuff out there. Do not get discouraged. And as long as you keep showing up and you keep promoting yourself and you keep saying, hey, I have this, I'm interesting, you should listen to me, the people will come.
Yeah.
Definitely will.
And I have one little thing to add since I do live in Atlanta. So I'm the chapter leader for a group called PromoteHer.com. Yeah, so promote-her.com. Go sign up. And the beauty of it is we have master classes. So let's say somebody wants to learn how to podcast. You become a member, that's your space. So it's an exclusive networking group. First to pay, first to get the space. So everybody is open. So promote-her.com, and I'm the Atlanta chapter leader. Love to have you. Anybody else that would love to come out. There's so many podcasters, but if you have a niche, you have a niche, or a niche, depending on how you say it. So we've got room for you all. But since I am here, I'd love to see you all out. Okay. I know, right?
Hey guys. So I think my question might be more so geared towards you ladies on the end, just because I know you said that I'm Chandrika. I have a podcast called The Dinner Table. I recently just started mine as well back in June. But I'm a co-host of it. But because I know you said that you started your podcast, you started it first and then you came onto it. So I guess my question is, how did you work through not necessarily if it was a challenge, but going from your previous co-host to getting a new co-host, and if it was a challenge, because depending on, the situation that may have taken place with your previous co-host, like if it was like a falling out, or if it was just like, oh, we're just going to decide to go separate ways because we didn't agree on something, or like whatever that situation was, I'd like to know the situation, and then what process did you go through to choose someone else for it?
So Schoolin Life started in June of 2017, I want to say, like May or June of 2017. It started with myself and two other co-hosts. Those girls were friends of mine, and like I mentioned, like I felt like I was a podcast listener, a podcast fan, but I just felt like there weren't women in the podcast space like me, right? So like I'm a professional woman, I have a full-time job, but I really love sort of sharing my life and my experiences with other people, and I thought podcasting was a great medium for that. So I asked my girlfriends, hey, will y'all join me in this podcast journey? They were excited about it, joined me, and we podcast together for about 9 or 10 months. I think that from that like June, July of 17 through 18, over time, I started to take Schoolin Life more seriously. I really saw the potential in the brand. I was like, wow, people are listening. We got to 10,000 downloads, and then 15,000 downloads, and then 20,000 downloads. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a thing. And I really wanted to like get a website. Like I want to pay a graphic designer. I want to take like professional pictures. Like I want to elevate this brand. We did our first live tour, our live show in Chicago. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like there was like 40 people in the room. Like this is like I was like trying to go global. I was like, yeah. So at the time we were all pooling in and putting money into it. And my two co-hosts at the time just said, hey Ashley, I can't financially commit to this anymore. Like I didn't sign up for this. Like I thought this was just three girlfriends kikiing. Girl, I know you was trying to like, put on. But in my spirit of like operating in excellence, I mean, I start where I'm at, but continuous excellence improvement, I was trying to go big. And so I was disappointed in their decision to leave the podcast. And those were my girlfriends, right? Like, these are my homies. So, like, in them leaving the podcast, our relationship was damaged as well. But I respected their decision, right? And understood that. And honestly, like, I can't count your coins. I can't manage your money, right? So, like, I need to be really supportive of your decision to say, hey, I can't financially invest in this anymore. So I was stuck. They left the podcast, and in my spirit to be consistently excellent, I had an episode to record on Tuesday. So I was like, what am I gonna do, Lord? So I called one of my girlfriends. It's like, hey, can you record with me tonight? Because I don't like the solo podcast thing. That wasn't what I wanted to do. It's a conversation, right? So that's what I wanted to do. So for I think for 2 weeks, I just recorded with some friends, and then Marcy and I went to high school together. We didn't share that. We went to high school together. She's a year younger than me. But we didn't necessarily stay close, after we went to college, like Facebook friends, but not really close. But I saw her on Facebook one night, and she was just talking, like she was about to start like a YouTube channel or something. And I was like, okay, so like she into social media, and like, I watched her journey, from like going to Spelman, and then I knew that she like went to grad school, so I knew she had a PhD too. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like we got like a similar vibe. She's gorgeous. She's smart. I'm like, this could work. You know what I'm saying? So I Facebooked her at like 1 a.m. Like, hey, girl, it's Ashley. I have a podcast, and I'm just interested. Wonder if you're interested in co-hosting. My former co-host left, and I'm really looking for a new partner. And Marcy sent me the longest Facebook message with like 15 questions, like 1, 2, 3, asking me some of the same questions. Why they leave? What happened, girl? Tell me this.
I gotta protect my energy. I gotta protect my energy.
Perhaps we could transition this to my email. It's hello@schoolinlifepod.com. You can email me. But I was so grateful that she engaged me in the email conversation and said yes. And then I'll let Marcy take it from there for like how our kind of relationship works now.
Yeah, and I echo all of that. And I think that for me, I kind of came into it on the up scope of her wanting to grow and wanting to build. And so I kind of knew what I was getting into. And like she said, I had just started a YouTube channel. I was kind of stepping into this foray of trying to be into the social media world and trying to get another voice out into the world. So this just kind of fit in line with that. And we have an agreement. It's very professional in a lot of ways. So we communicate about things. We are on the same page about what's happening. And I asked all of those questions going into it because, I mean, if you just recently had an experience like that where someone left the podcast, I don't want to then sign up for something and then be like, actually, I can't do this, right? Yeah, like, never mind. And Ashley was even talking earlier about, like, working with therapists and kind of how we're very curious in a lot of ways.
A lot of questions.
We ask a lot of questions. And so I did that. Like, I did ask, like, 15 questions, and we had a phone conversation, and I was like, let me sit on it for a week, and let me try it out. Like, let's do a couple of test runs and see how this works. Let me make sure this fits into my schedule so that if I sign up for something, I'm committed to it. So I think that kind of really helped to pave the way. And even now we're in a space of like, okay, let's start talking about the future of Schoolin Life. Like Ashley said, she don't want to do Schoolin Life professionally full time. Maybe I do want to do Schoolin Life professionally full time. But we're constantly having conversations about what's going on and kind of staying on the same page about that. So I think that's helped a lot too. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So we're getting ready to wrap in a little bit, but we talked a little bit last night about success and that formula and what that looks like, because it does look different to everyone else. You know, the way I measure success is not the same way that you ladies measure success. And what attracted me to all of you to even ask you to be here is the level of excellence that you do work at. Thank you. Right? And that the effort that you put into your brands, and I see that you take it seriously, right? It's not just let me do this little old podcast today, right? Or let me do this little old show today. Like, you really take it, and it's a production, right? As you see, it's a production for me, and I really do take it seriously because I feel as if I'm changing lives. So, you know, and as we talked about before, even winning, that's what success is to me. So really quickly, what does success look like?
Okay, quickly.
Yes.
Really quickly. So success looks like, for me, I talked about legacy. And I think my biggest why is because I don't have biological children. So you know how you have kids and you want to see success, you want to see things in them. I don't have that, so I want to create community. I want to transform communities. So if I have that big plot of land where we can have transitional housing, we can have gardens, we can change communities, that's success for me. So that's it.
Love that.
I would say I really try to stay away from formulas or routines. Like, I know every beauty blogger in the world is trying to teach you her morning routine, but I really encourage people to like sort of get out of that and stay away from that. I think too much routine makes us boring, and I also think that life isn't routine. Like, and oftentimes when you have specific formulas or routines, when they don't work, and they won't someday, you're going to be so disappointed. So I really encourage people to think about like checking in with themselves instead of seeing where you're at every day and seeing what risk you need to take that day, where you need to step back, where you need to check in. And for me, I think it's less about a formula and it's more about sort of going back to like really being honest with yourself, like really being true to yourself and checking in with yourself, checking in with your stakeholders. If you're faith-based, checking in with your deity and thinking about like who you are and how you show up in spaces. And that to me is a detailed way to avoid formulas, but also to be successful wherever you are.
Love it.
The definition of success for me has changed over time. Like, when I first started out, success for me was making a lot of money and living in a big old house and driving a fancy car and doing all of the like material things of what identify as wealth. But recently I've really transitioned into this space of like, success is really being content with where I am and being at peace with where I am. Like, I have the measures of success. I have a house. I have an amazing husband. I have the cutest puppy in the world. I have a great job. I have a doctorate degree. Like, I have the measures of success, but the thing that makes me feel the most successful is being so content and at peace with where I am. There are so many other things I could have. There are so many other things that I will have in life. What I often think about is what happens if all of this stuff goes away? What happens if you're like Job and you lose everything, are you still going to be successful? Are you still going to be happy? Are you still going to be peaceful and content? And so for me, if I am able to say, you know what, I could have more, but I'm real good where I am right now, that is success to me.
I love that, ladies. Thank you, right? Dropping some jewels and nuggets in here today. I love it. Well, guys, we have come to the end of the show.
No.
Wow. I know parting is such sweet sorrow.
It's such sweet sorrow.
But I have to thank today's sponsor, Wisdom and Tax Financial Services, Remy Martin, for the puzzles. Skyline Media, Shoot Your Shot, and Tracy L. James. As we part for the week, remember this thought. Complain doesn't make a change until you do. Until next week, I'm Chase McGee with the Winning Brand Podcast.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Winning Brand Podcast. Please take a moment to comment, rate, and subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Podcasts. And to view the podcast, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, have a winning week.
On behalf of the Winning You Tour panel, we want to thank you for coming out tonight, and our creator, Chase McGee.
Thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate it.
On behalf of Schoolin Life, we want to say thank you so much and good night.
Good night.